So the midgut. We know that midgut has two parts. So the first part that we are going to see in here is the small intestine. So the small intestine, it is the longest part of the entire alimentary canal. It is basically around 5 to 6 meters long. Now this small intestine, it is further divided into three major parts, and these parts are, the first one is the duodenum. The second part is the jejunum, and the third part is the ileum. Okay, so basically the duodenum, the jejunum and the ileum. Now if I draw the figure and I will show you how exactly does it look like. So it will look somewhat like this. So as we know that it starts from the stomach. So this is the part of interior portion of the small intestine, and it ends like this. So the first part, the middle part and the last part. Now like I just said, the anterior part of the small intestine is called as duodenum. So duodenum is somewhat like C or U shaped in structure. It begins just after the pyloric sphincter. So as we had seen that the stomach, it had this sphincter like structure, right? So this was the pyloric sphincter, and just after the stomach starts the duodenum. Now the middle part of it is what we call the jejunum, and the last part is the ileum. Okay, so duodenum, it basically receives the digestive juices from the liver as well as from the pancreas, and it receives it with the help of a duct which we call the hepatopancreatic duct. So this duct is the hepatopancreatic duct. This duct consists of the juices carried from the liver as well as from the pancreas, and the point where these open inside the duodenum is what we call the ampulla of Vater. So this is the ampulla of Vater, which is the opening of the hepatopancreatic duct which opens into the duodenum. Okay, moving forward, the jejunum. So the jejunum, it forms the digestive absorptive tract, which means that if we see the area of jejunum, there are various microvilli like structures present, and these microvilli like structure which are present in jejunum as well as in ileum, they form larger surface area for the absorption of digested food material. The ileum and the jejunum, they also have the intestinal glands present in them, which helps in the digestion and absorption of the food material. Now if you see in here, there are deep folds present. The jejunum is being thrown into deep folds. These deep folds are what we called the plicae circularis. So these are the plicae circularis, which are the deep folds which are present in here. So this was about the small intestine, which has three major parts as duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Now the small intestine is one of the most important parts of the alimentary canal, where the entire or the complete digestion take place. So the completion of digestion basically occurs in the small intestine. Now moving forward, let us see the next part of the midgut, which is large intestine. So the large intestine, okay, so the large intestine is basically divided into three regions. The first region is what we call the cecum. It is cecum. Next is the colon, and the last part is the rectum. So we know that there are three parts of large intestine, but what about the large intestine? What are its basic features? The large intestine, it is approximately 1.5 to 3.5 meter long. Okay, now like we just said, it has three parts. Let's draw and see how does it exactly look like. So we had seen that the small intestine, it ends at the ileum. So this is the part of small intestine. Now when I am going to show you the structure of large intestine, you will notice that it has the first part which appears somewhat like this. Okay, now moving forward. Okay, so like I said, this is the end part of small intestine, which we call the ileum. The part where the ileum ends and the large intestine starts is what we call the ileocecal valve. So this is the ileocecal valve, which means that this part is the cecum. Okay, this is cecum. Then it moves forward, okay, to form the colon. It continues upward to form the colon. So this is the colon. But colon is further divided into four parts, and these parts are, this is the ascending colon. So first is the ascending colon, then comes the transverse colon. Then next part is the descending colon. Next, this is the sigmoid colon. Okay, lastly, this is the rectum. So these are the parts of large intestine. So the cecum, colon and rectum, they majorly help in the absorption of water from the food. And this is what we have learned about the large intestine.